2 Taylor Swift episodes in a month. We're doing this. When I made that last Taylor Swift episode just 3 weeks ago, I asked one big provocative question. Is the Taylor Swift moment over? And now we have a definitive answer. No, it is not. It is still Taylor Swift's world, and we are still just living in it. Her new single was titled You Need to Calm Down, and people did not calm down. I was out seeing a show when she released it, and when I got back, it seemed like everyone I follow on social media, including the non-music accounts, was talking about it.
The hell? What? Set off the alarm! Oh no.
So whatever you want to say about her, it's clear that she still has enormous power to attract attention. It felt like she deliberately dropped this song to spite me personally for asking such a stupid question. It dropped, and in its first week, it has rocketed up the charts all the way to number 2. It has not budged Old Town Road, which now sits on a throne of skulls from all the challengers it's vanquished. But something's got to unseat it eventually. I wouldn't be super shocked if it was Taylor. Because this is not just any Taylor Swift song. Believe me, I would not be rushing out another Taylor episode this quickly if I could avoid it, but this felt like it demanded an immediate response. Unlike the vapid and pointless lead single Me, this feels a lot more substantial, I guess, a lot more meat on it. And unlike the puzzled apathy that greeted that underwhelming first song, the response to You Need to Calm Down from the pop listening world has been extremely positive. And also extremely negative. This one's really polarizing. Taylor's fan base seems to be really appreciating it. The more jaded and cynical listeners have been firmly unimpressed. I made my feelings about it known pretty quickly. And the Swifties showed up in my mentions in full defense of her, which definitely did not happen for that other song. And since at least a portion of people seem fairly protective of it, I'm gonna try and take in everyone's responses as well as my own. Cause we're yet again dealing with sensitive topics and I want to be careful. Yeah, it's one of those episodes. Well, I'll say this much right off the bat. Between this, 7 Rings, and Old Town Road, 2019 is turning into a banner year for think piece bait pop singles. So, let's start generating those hot takes. Okay, so the song is titled You Need to Calm Down.
You need to calm down. You're being too loud.
Who needs to calm down? Is she talking to herself? That would make sense, because it looks like the new album will have a much more relaxed vibe than the exhaustingly extra previous one. But no, she doesn't need to calm down. You need to calm down.
You are somebody that I don't know, but you're taking shots at me like it's Patron, and I'm just like, damn. It's 7 a.m.
Yeah, it's another one about the haters.
But you say it in a tweet that's a cop-out, and I'm just like, hey.
I've never tweeted at Taylor Swift, but I am one of her critics, arguably a hater at points, so I can speak from experience. Telling your critics they need to calm down is always a great move, because it's absolutely infuriating. I'm not being emotional, I'm making good faith arguments that deserve a response. And don't tell me to calm down, I am calm. I'm perfectly calm! So if the idea was to make me look like an idiot, it's doing a decent job. But, like Taylor, I am also extremely online, so I do get it and relate. Like all celebrities, Taylor does see a lot of unfair shit. She remains thin-skinned as she's always been, but I do understand that no matter how rich and famous you are, one shitty comment can absolutely fuck up your day. She also gets a lot of fair criticism, but we'll be generous and say she's not talking about that. She's talking about the pointlessly negative shit talkers on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. Those people suck. She has every right to be irritated at internet trolls. I'm not saying she doesn't. My criticism of her critics is more that I've heard it. She has had at least one song like this in each of her, 4 last albums? It's getting real old. I guess the tone that she takes here, which is of condescending annoyance and confusion, I guess that works better than when she tried to act like she didn't care at all, when she clearly did. It's just that after so many of them, I'm so tired. She'll be over the haters when she stops talking about them.
Snakes and stones never broke my bones.
You were the snake, remember? It was your thing. Unless you mean the snake emojis everyone was sending at you, which kinda did break your bones, as I recall. You were so hurt by it, you made a whole album. Taylor's obsession with her enemies was already getting old long before now. For all the talk of making a clean break from the Reputation era, the new album looks like it's just gonna be Reputation painted in Care Bear colors. I am so tired of Taylor Swift's forever war with her haters. How much longer is she gonna fight this battle? How many more resources will it take? How many more lives will be lost? Bring the troops home! She's just done this to death. I'm bored with it, and if this were all that the song were about, no one would be talking about it. But of course, it's not. So, let's get to that second verse. For the vast majority of her career, Taylor Swift has barely issued any statement ever, artistically or otherwise, about a single topic except herself. She was one of the most notoriously apolitical celebrities alive, a position she was being criticized for even before the intense current zeitgeist where silence is basically unjustifiable. So after so long without a peep, it was genuinely shocking last year when Taylor Swift issued a very thorough and sharply worded endorsement in the midterm elections. It was not a wishy-washy statement. And that sudden hard stance looks like something she wants to continue in her music. She said the new album will be more political, and in this song she makes good on that. She is officially standing for something. The haters she takes on in that second verse is homophobes.
Sunshine on the street at the parade, but you would rather be in the dark age, just making that sign.
It's a big pro-gay message, and the video has tons of various LGBT celebrities. So, what do we do with that? It is 2019. Most of her peers were out on the front lines long before this, and even football teams do pride events now. She has nothing to lose and everything to gain by speaking up now, so if people are suspicious of her motives, I don't blame them. You can't really call this a brave stance. But it is probably a necessary one, for Taylor's relationship with her fans, if nothing else. Taylor has a lot of LGBT followers. They love her. It'd suck if she didn't love them back. The longer she went without saying something, the more people might wonder why.
Control your urges to scream about all the people you hate. 'Cause shade never made anybody less gay,
So it's good she finally said something. And it's certainly not useless either. Prejudice is still really powerful, and the fight continues, so it absolutely cannot hurt to have the biggest pop star in the world on your side. So if people feel like she's standing up for them and they're happy for that, I feel like a dick stepping on that.
Can you just not step on his gown?
But just speaking for myself, the first verse is still part of the song. To me, this is not a gay rights song. It's an anti-hater song like Taylor's other hater songs that just happens to have a verse about gay bashers. So, yeah, it's a real interesting move for Taylor to be all like, I, and also the gays, have too many haters. It's like, man, the cops are out of control. The Central Park 5, my DUI, fuck the police.
You need to calm down.
The two things have absolutely nothing to do with each other. I mean, yes, it's good to make supportive statements. It's good that she's doing it. It's good that McDonald's does it. It's better than not doing it. But that doesn't mean I gotta be moved or impressed that my McRib came with a rainbow on the wrapper. Like I said, I can only speak for myself, but juxtaposing her mean Twitter replies with active hate groups strikes me as impossibly bad taste. It sounds like Taylor, once again, failing to see or understand anything beyond her own limited viewpoint. This is like if Michael Scott wrote a gay rights anthem. Seriously, Michael Scott level making it about herself. And I want to say, yeah, I do realize that my opinion on this maybe doesn't matter that much. Taylor's support probably means a lot more to a young, questioning Taylor fan than it does to me, a cynical adult jackass. I'm not gay. I don't recognize most of these celebrities. I don't even watch Drag Race. When I clock out of doing this, I'm gonna go watch sports and play Xbox. I am not a plugged-in guy. But Jesus Christ, even I know that's not what shade means.
Shade never made anybody less gay,
Shade is like catty insults, right? It's supposed to be funny, is my understanding. It's not hate speech. She's got all those gay and trans people in the video. Couldn't one of them have told her? And for that matter, I don't think a bunch of Westboro Baptist dickheads screaming on a street corner, they don't care if you become less gay as a result of their shade. That's not their goal. Like, maybe your religious grandma wants you to be less gay and find a nice opposite-sex spouse to bring home. But, like, gay bashers like that, they don't care that much about your inner life. A bully doesn't shove you in a locker because he wishes you were bigger and cooler. Taylor phrases that line like hate mongers are just confused, and that ain't it.
Shade never made anybody less gay.
They're not gonna listen to that lyric and be like, wow, I never thought about it like that. I guess you're right. It's a very trivializing song, I guess. Bigotry is just shade. Homophobes are just like Taylor's obnoxious reply guys. It doesn't seem like Taylor really knows what she's talking about. Like, most people aren't ever gonna get protested on the street. Like, I get that screaming morons like that are the most striking image of gay hating, but they're also the most easily ignored. The major pain in LGBT lives, as far as I can tell, all come from the internet, or their own families, or the highest levels of elected office, not rednecks with signs. You know, Macklemore was also clumsy, but he at least seemed to understand the depth of the problem, you know? But, to be fair, I had someone suggest to me that maybe Taylor trivializing these idiots is exactly why people like it. I didn't think of that. I mean, wouldn't it be nice if that's how it was? Bigots aren't impeding on your very existence. They're just the same as some rude asshole on Twitter, and you can tell them, hey, shut up. Calm the fuck down already. Get that puppy on a leash. I mean, I'd like to live in that world, so if that's the appeal, well, you know, I don't feel it, but at least I get it. Yeah. And, okay. And, there is one other reason I've seen offered for why some fans really lit up for this song. So boy, okay. So I think this is a fair summary of the song's message. But even boiled down like that, there's a lot of ways to interpret it. What does that mean? The second this song dropped, social media was buzzing with rampant speculation that this was a thinly veiled coming out for Taylor. In fact, for a little while now, there have been lesbian rumors about her, and they went into overdrive when the song dropped. People have been poring over the video looking for hints like it's the goddamn Da Vinci Code. Yeah, okay. Look, let me be clear on this. If Taylor's sexuality wasn't part of the official you need to calm down discourse, I would not be talking about it, because quite honestly, this shit strikes me as really invasive and gross. Like Shawn Mendes, who also has a lot of gay rumors about him, he's talked about how badly that shit fucks with his head. It just feels icky, and I don't want to be a part of this. Look, if she ever comes out, she's out, and if she doesn't, she doesn't, and she hasn't. She said firmly that she's just trying to support the LGBT community, not join it. Could she be lying? Sure. I don't know what she's got going on. Is she deliberately teasing at it for publicity like some people think? I don't see it, but I'm pretty dense about these things. The more important thing is I don't care. Unless something concrete pops up, like she says something, or paparazzi snags some secret hot photos of her and another woman adopting a child together, I'm not going to think much about it, and I don't think anyone really should. I understand she'd be a really big name signing in the gay draft, but there's already a bunch of other big pop divas out there representing. One stranger's orientation does not matter this much. Y'all do need to calm down. But if people really thought this was a coming out song, I can see why, because if it's not, it's really fucking tacky otherwise. Because in the third verse, we go back to Taylor's internet trolls.
And we see you over there on the internet.
Like, if she was announcing she was gay or bi or whatever, this song would make a lot more sense. As it is, it sounds like she's just saying, me, and also gay rights. But back to me. Funny thing is, I think the third verse is probably the best of them, even though it's real brief.
Comparing all the girls who are killing it. But we figured you out. We all know now. We all got crowns. You need to...
Like, it's about how various pop star fans and stans try to create artificial competition to tear each other down, which is better than the first verse because it's not so vague and feels like it's actually about something meaningful instead of just, people are jerks. And it also doesn't put her out of her depth like the pride stuff in the middle. It's just a weirdly unbalanced song all around. There's like a Goldilocks structure to it. Like, too trivial, too serious, just right. Or close enough at least. Although actually, I think the song immediately gets better if they switch the second and third verses. Because then it would actually build and get more serious and then climax with a big serious message. But I think Taylor wanted to do it this way to build to the biggest cameo of all. What? Katy Perry? Don't the two of them hate each other? They wrote songs putting each other on blast. Aren't they eternal enemies? Not anymore. They buried the hatchet. They're friends again. You know the end of Chicago, where Velma and Roxy's careers are in so much trouble that they're forced to team up to get back into the limelight? Yeah. Shade. I get that she wanted to save the biggest cameo for the end, but I think Katy would have made more sense showing up during the first verse, because that's where Taylor engages in some mild self-criticism.
I've learned a lesson that stressing and obsessing about somebody else is no fun.
I mean, it's not a lot, but it is acknowledging that she too has often been a hater, and that she's proving that she can take her own advice and learn to be less negative. She's walking the walk. I mean, I'm sure that's what she means with the Katy Perry cameo. But she puts it towards the end, right after she does that verse about toxic fans putting women against each other.
We figured you out.
It kind of comes across like she's blaming them for her and Katy's stupid feud. Like, no, you did that. The fandom didn't make you film a whole expensive video on the topic. But, you know, it is a good gesture of positivity to put Katy in the video. And honestly, if I were Katy, I would be very flattered. Because this is basically just a Katy Perry song. Same rainbow colors, same awkward attempts at positivity, and extremely awkward use of slang that sounds like she shouldn't be using it. I guess that's my objection to the song, really. It's awkward. It's awkward in concept, and it's awkward in execution. It'd be one thing if it were dynamic and fun, but it just keeps chugging along at the same pace. The beat is really minimal. I guess to put the focus on the lyrics. And that's not a great idea, because the lyrics are just... ugh.
Why are you mad when you could be glad?
There's just no excuse for this.
You're taking shots at me like it's Patron.
If I made a top 10 list of Taylor's worst lyrics, more than half would come from this song. And that's pretty impressive from someone who already wrote Shake It Off. On top of that, a lot of people are saying that this doesn't feel real, it's not authentic, she's just pandering to her most lucrative demographic, it's a calculated pose for brownie points. Look, I think authenticity is a stupid, boring topic that doesn't really interest me. But also, I don't agree. I see how she comes off like that because this kind of came out of nowhere, but I don't see it as very calculated at all. A calculated pose would be a lot less messy. This strikes me as very sincere. I think she sincerely cares about gay rights, and that she sincerely thinks it's comparable to mean tweets. Back in 2010, Taylor's video for Mean made the same connection between her critics and anti-gay bullies. And people have objected to that for the same reasons, but I thought it was fine. I thought innocent teenage Taylor could pull off being a stand-in for the universal underdog. But she's way too big for that now. The same public fascination that's powered this song to success is also why it doesn't work. Even now, the conversation still revolves around Taylor's personal life. If she was trying to expand her brand to be about something important and not just her own personal dramas, it's not working. The Taylor Swift phenomenon remains as Taylor-centric as ever. And even just ignoring the politics of it, her long history of anti-hater songs weighs this down. For a positivity song, it's extremely negative. Like, you know the saying, if you meet an asshole in the morning, that just means you met an asshole. But if you meet assholes all day, you're actually the asshole. I mean, I used to think that. Thanks to the internet, I now realize the world is in fact just full of assholes. But that doesn't mean anyone wants to hear you complain about it all the time.
Say it in the street, that's a knockout.
It's tiring for everyone. Like, I don't know your trolls, Taylor. The person filling my life with negativity is you. Or maybe I'm being too negative, I don't know. Maybe I need to calm down.
Shade never made anybody less gay, so...
I mean, that's true. Shade has never made anyone less gay. What a good, true lyric.
Calm down.